You may think because of the way the narcissist treated you, you were not missed. Because of the way they treated you, you might have been treated kind of terrible and thrown out like it was garbage. And I hate to say it like that, but I'm speaking and expressing from my own mind's eye how it feels because that's what I experienced. It's the worst types of breakups. It's always you're drained, you're down and out, and you're at your worst point in time, you feel like, because of how much they have sucked off of you. And you have realized by that point you've been used, at least in your final cycles, because that's what I'm talking about. The one that is the last one, the one where you never go back. You cycled over and over. And you've heard all of these different lies that allowed them to come back in hopes they would change. Woke up to narcissism, started reading some books and found out these people are fixed. These individuals will never change. The way they move on, they just continue to trash you and smear you in the background. Your self-esteem, your self-worth, you're wearing their energy, they're wearing yours. So they just walk off, skipping into the next relationship. They'll go on trips and vacations and they look like they're doing well. They're wearing your energy. Your energy's, it's got spice, y'all. You're the salt of the earth, so they got the best energy they're wearing. I think the biggest thing that's even above money to them is that fuel, that energy they get off chosen source supply, the curse breaker. The problem is you were so nice to them, and a lot of times you peeped at the game, what was really going on, knew what was going on at some point, and you may have known the whole time, but you hadn't understood narcissism until the very end, and you really liked the idea of somebody or something like that. So you gave him the benefit of the doubt, and that dug you a big hole, and then you got into that trauma bond situation. So you're doing the push and a pull, and sometimes you feel like in those situations you're going to be the one. It's like, yeah, I know all the other narcissists, they don't change, but the one I'm with is. I see it. But that doesn't happen. When you're the only one, you need to walk away too, because you're lying to yourself. They're fit. Nevertheless, it's sad. It's a sad situation I think for everybody, at least from our point of view. To some degree, it's hard to try to understand or try to figure out crazy. I think you can for the most part, but to continue to go down that rabbit hole is a waste of time because you're still pouring more energy into them. But what they miss most about you is your fuel, and your fuel is the best. You fuel them up better than anybody out there. You were that high-grade fuel, that 105 or that jet fuel. They were getting diesel fuel before you, and they will have to resort to going back to that crap again. And what's bad is when they've had the best fuel they ever had and they never knew it existed. You were the first person that gave them that kind of care, that supplied them with that kind of energy and that fuel and that way of thinking. I mean, it comes with everything. You gave them your stature and they poured theirs on you. All their lying, cheating, stealing, and you took it all. We give a lot. And when you give a lot, that means you gave all of your fuel away as much as you could without falling on the ground. And because you did that, they gave you as much as they could of their garbage. They fed into you all of their trash. You're resilient because you took more negative energy than anybody else probably has in their whole life. You made them feel the greatest. You made them somewhat successful during that time. And a lot of times when they're in a relationship with you and it's as heavily corded up as between the super empath on a woke or a chosen source on a woke and a narcissist is, that's a real cord that's hard to break. They don't even have to be in your presence to be sucking your fuel off you. So even when they're away from you and even after you break up, they're still sucking fuel off you for a long time until you heal. But when you heal, that boomerang comes back, boy, and it nails them right in the head. When you cut those energetic ties and those cords and you unhook their hooks in you and you let them go. More than money, they wanted your heart. They wanted your identity, your aura. They were alive when they had your fuel. And now they're like zombies again. And it's kind of like when you've had something that's really good and then you can't get it again. They have this addiction to you and they won't tell you. But this is the deal. When they treat you the worst, they need you the most, or they valued you the most. And that's the truth. Because they want to knock down the best fuel so they can keep them isolated and keep their self-worth down so they'll never leave. They'll be feeling inferior. They want to lock down those types of sources. And when they come back and you refuse them over and over, That's when it hits home. It hits home after years, 2 years of you refusing them, moving on, glowing up, educating, and just working on yourself, because that's generally what happens. You start to feel out and separate your energy from others, live a certain way, you lean up a little, get rid of the junk in your life and the evil people, and you really start to glow and become successful. That betrayal in the very end of that last cycle, when you decide to leave them, is what shakes you awake into your purpose. It shakes you on your path to glory. It lines you, it realigns you back to center and balances you out. It grounds you and straightens those crooked paths, y'all, I'm telling you. And you will start to manifest. They manifest off that fuel. You have the best love. That's your gift, to love, y'all. The 9 fruits of the Spirit, they do not house them. They don't have love, joy, peace, kindness, gentleness, goodness, long-suffering. They don't have good self-control, but they had it when they had your fuel. And that's why they say energy is the new currency, because at the end of the day, honestly, if they could have your energy for the rest of their life or be a multi-millionaire, I'm not sure which one they'd take, but I think they would take this, to be able to house that all the time. Because if they could house that all the time, you know what they know? They're smart enough, because when you don't have something, you know what you need and you cherish it and you know how to use it to the highest level. You're not going to be lazy with it, because it's a hot commodity. What they don't have and what you have, if you knew how to use it, you can manifest greatness in your life, and for good people. I mean, to help good people and to be prosperous. And that's what they don't want you to know, because they do. They start businesses and get all these flying monkeys working for them, and they start getting new cars, new home, all kind of stuff. Then when you leave, all of it goes back down to zero again. Once you uncord, disconnect, separate your energy. But you know, you ruminate probably for a year to 18 months on that when you leave them. So they're going to be sucking off you for a while, and they're going to be checking on you, trying to come back, telling you how much they changed, and it's going to look good. They may have pushed you to a tertiary source supply for a time. Maybe you would see them once in a while, because you would feel like it just kind of happened through that trauma bond. But you're still going to wean yourself away from them if you know better, if you're a curse breaker. And you're going to get lean and clean, y'all. You're going to start grinding. That's what you do. You grind now and you shine later. And that's what you do. Don't worry about what they're doing. Everything they do is a lie. Everything they're putting forth is a lie. They can't love. They don't enjoy any relationship. They actually feign them. They feign them because they need people, and they want independence and sovereignty, but they can't have it, so they have to put people under their yoke of bondage and have power and control over them, lock them down so they can steal their energy. And they work on a pipeline, just like a real estate agent, where they have several different accounts that they're working on to close so they can make that money. And they're always working. They're always salesmen. They're a salesman too. And they got to keep their pipeline full so they can continue to get fuel, because they're going to tap you out of your energy at some point. You can't take care of one of them forever. You can't prop up evil if you're good forever. But they steal all your blessings. When you came into their life, you were the best thing they ever had. You were their blessing without the wrapping paper. I'm not fooling. You're a healer. If you're a generational curse breaker, you're a healer, you're a good counsel, and you supplied everything that they needed for the most part. But they refuse to live right. And you got stuck in the relationship because they were wearing the mask when you met them. And then they trauma bonded you. And then started witchcraft on you. Raise your vibration up. But just know this is the deal. Once you start to glow up and do great things and start to manifest in your life abundance, then they'll want to come back. And you know what? You're not going to take them back, but that's going to be their biggest regret of their whole life. They'll never get over it. And you know what, though? If they would have acted right, they could have had you. They could have had you, but they didn't want to act right, because they had you in that heart space at the time. That's what they have to walk around with for the rest of their life, knowing that if they would have just acted right and gave you equal reciprocity and respect, the only way a narcissist respects you is when you quit with them and forever. And the moment you go back to them, it's disrespect. And the more you love them, they hate you, they wreck you. The more you love them, the more they hate you. It's unequally yoking, spoken of in the Word of God. So leave them. The only reason they're sent into your life is to get you aligned back to center and balance. So the longer you stay in it when you know what you need to be doing is just a curse on your life and a blessing for them. But this was the deal. You were their last ditch effort. You were there to lead them to healing. They unalived it. They unalive everything good in their life. And they let everything wicked flourish. Typically, they're hanging out with other narcissists. You always wanted to know things about them and take care of them, whatever. You know what they get now? They get people that their supply sources now are only, what can I get off this individual? How can I use them before they use me? That's what they're with now, honestly. So, grind now and shine later, y'all. Till next time.